Heartbound is incredibly mid. I I didn't feel like paying the $10 to get the whole early access because I don't care. So I just went for the demo and played through it. If you want to see that, it'll be in the description of this. But it's just boring. And I watched other people's experiences with the more full release. No, I don't want to say full, because seemingly this game is never going to come out. But with my experience, it was just boring. The whole start of the game, you wake up, you get dressed, and you wake your dog up, but oh no, we have to have action immediately. So you turn on a light switch and you get flung across your room into a wall, and then your character, who I think his name is Lore, I don't really remember, says a quip about it, and that's all. And then the dog wakes up and it's like, oh, it's a talking dog. Whoa, it's cool, it's unique, but yeah, no. Pretty soon after you've fed your dog and you've taken out your trash, which this character, who I can only assume is the father figure in this household, tells you to do. You feed the dog. You have an option to feed him garbage. I didn't, because I was, but I didn't see the button. So, I went ahead and then I fed the dog, took the trash out, found an axe outside, which comes in later in what I think is the most stupid way. It's ridiculous. But you go back inside, you go back to sleep after feeding the dog. The dog tries to race you to your bedroom, or your character's bedroom, whatever. I'm just going to say your to keep this better. But you get there and you go to sleep. That's all. And then you wake up after this dream sequence where the dog's talking to you about, I'll always be with you. And then, oh no, you wake up and the dog's gone. There's a bunch of scratches all over the place. You try and go into the room where this mysterious father figure was, and you're just not allowed because it's jammed, and it makes a really bad joke that's not even funny, and I don't get it. Well, I get it, but So it moves on, and then you follow these scratch tracks, looking at the environment, I guess. Then you get to the point where you find your dog's collar, and it goes, whoa, Lore, your character goes, whoa, oh no, the dog, what happened to the dog? And then you walk forward and you see this big purple thing, just huge, and it kind of looks like a mutated Enderman from that one Minecraft mod from Lord knows how long ago. But you fight this thing. You don't actually finish the fight, because you get saved by this crow guy named Binder, who I ended up just calling Vulture my entire playthrough, because he reminded me of the old, 1920s or whatever year that was in the Spider-Verse movie. That's just the first thing I thought of when I saw him. And I moved on, and I kept playing, and we talked to Binder, and you're just talking, and you're reading, and the plot develops, but I just don't care. You don't... Okay. Let me take a step back. I'm doing this fully unedited, because this is, let's see, the time's 6:30. I just finished the game about 4 minutes ago. So, raw thoughts. There's no character development in this demo to make you care about anything that's going on. And the whole, from what I've seen, is basically the whole premise of this game is, choices matter, and everything you do and say and choose to do is important. But in this demo, there is no choice at all. No matter what you do, it stays the same, seemingly. I'm not going to do a second playthrough because I don't care. I don't care enough. And honestly, I don't want to keep playing a game of someone who I have lost a lot of respect for. I looked up to him for a little bit. I was like, oh, make games. Yeah, cool. Get into programming. You know, he's experienced. And then all this stuff comes out. And he's a roach. I don't play WoW, but I understand what that means. And I have seen it in other contexts. And he's just an asshole. And it sucks, man. It really sucks that this person who I thought was really cool and you know, you could look up to, and he posts these kind of motivational shorts about, you know, make games, don't feel down. There was one I saw where there was this guy who donated and said, like, he doesn't have a lot of time to do it, and he's got the support of his family, but he's not, he wants to continue making his game, but he just doesn't know how. And Pirate Software goes, you know what, man? Get the family involved. Let them make stuff. And I thought that was really great. And then all this stuff just comes out about him just being a jerk, and just the game kind of shows it. I saw in some video, if I'll credit whoever it was if I remember, but there's this comment, and like, I don't know who it is, what character says it. It's some kind of corrupted demon looking thing that's just sitting. But they say something about the corporate ladder and how you're not moving up, you're moving sideways, which is really a self-reflection of how Pirate Software, Jason Thorhall, whatever you want to call him, how he views things, because that's how he's been in his life. He, didn't go up, he just went sideways. But yeah, there's a lot of issues with Heartbound. Excuse my little tangent about that. But the main thing is it's not good. I mean, there are positives. The pixel art looks great. The music was great. That's all I got. There's more negatives. The combat that was heavily promoted, as I saw in some of the Kickstarter stuff, including the very fight that's in the demo twice. Yeah, this only fight in the demo gets repeated. You fight once, you don't finish it, and you continue on after the Birdman saves you or whatever, because you're trying to fight in this ancient artifact, and you finally find the purple thing again, purple man, Enderman looking thing, and you fight it again with the axe that you can or cannot pick up, I guess. And it just sucks. It's kind of like WarioWare, where it's just a bunch of, I don't want to call them mini games, but I think I heard the term micro games, that they're just boring. You click your mouse to hit these, I'll call them meatballs because that's what they looked like to me, but they're just purple circles coming at you, and you click on them and they get destroyed and you don't take damage. Okay, that's fine. And then there's one where you have to click on these eyes in a certain order to deal damage. Okay, I messed it up once because I suck at games and remembering stuff, and I, took damage from it. It was fine. And then there's the point where you have to throw the axe by clicking when your little icon is in a certain space, in a, I guess, power bar, I could call it. And you dodge by pressing the arrow keys, or A and D, over and over. And it's just boring. And nothing I've seen of the future stuff is going to make me want to buy Heartbound now, let alone when it releases. If nothing changes, if there's no combat changes, if the story doesn't have some, has some stuff packed in there, because it's just boring and there's no character development, then, I'm not buying it. If you want to buy it, go for it, but I'm not. One of the things I really got unhappy with was towards kind of the middle point of the demo, where you're in this kind of, I think they called it a nightmare, and when you save it says it's some kind of nightmare. You're in this nightmarescape, and you have this kind of evil persona of your character talking to you and saying, you were supposed to save the dog, and because spoiler alert, dog's dead supposedly. But it's like it's your fault. It's like, how is it you were supposed to how I was asleep, and the dog was ripped from this kid's hands, who in the pixel art is very short or is just wearing a very big hoodie, one of the two. But he's a tiny little guy, kind of like an Undertale, which I know Jason Thor Hall has taken a lot of inspiration from, because you're supposed to, wake up and have hope. Sounds a lot like determination to me. I never played Undertale, though, except for like an hour, so I don't really know. Not my game. But it gets to a point where it's just sucks. I don't want to sound like a broken record and just repeat myself over and over about how this thing sucks, even though I just played the demo, but it's true. No character development, as I've said like 3 more times, and I like to repeat myself, forgive me. But I don't understand what's going on. There was a point where, because I picked up an axe when I was taking out the trash and feeding the dog, this evil persona said, "You were bloodthirsty, and you were gonna kill people." It's like, how do you know that? How do you know? How do you, if you are the persona even I get evil persona, maybe that's just what you think. What if I want to go chop some wood, start a fire or something? I don't know if there was a fireplace in that house, but if there was, start a fire. Maybe I want a log chopping minigame. I don't know. But who said I was gonna kill? You're just assuming the worst for no reason. I get evil persona, but any evil character can see reason for the most part. If you look at to take any kind of varied villainous character in fiction, let's look at the Joker from Batman. At a point in the comics, Batman says that he can help Joker. I don't remember which comic. I think it was either The Killing Joke or Death in the Family. But Batman, he's like, I can help you, Joker. We can, together we can come together. And Joker sees reason in, himself and says, no, you can't, because I've done too much already. Reasonable assessment in my eyes. It's just ridiculous that this seemingly inner voice of your main character in Heartbound just doesn't understand. Now, I'll give some credit. The first thought I thought of when I picked up that axe was, hey, maybe I can go attack the seemingly drunk dad who keeps, yelling, and apparently, from my eyes, looked like he was just abusive to Lore. Yeah, that's his name. Lore. And that was my initial thought, but, I tried. I'm pretty sure I walked back and tried to get in the room, didn't work. So, didn't get in the room. Yeah. I don't get it. It sucks. That's all I gotta say. Just lame. Played the demo, got bored, didn't want to keep reading. But again, if you like these little I don't want to call them rants, just discussions about stuff where this is just me unedited and just going. Subscribe, I guess, like, comment, I don't care. Tell me what to talk about next. If you want to see my full unedited playthrough. I'll put that into the description. Nothing bad in there, but it's just a video file. So I'll put it up unlisted, unedited. But have a great day, and don't buy Heartbound. Sorry, but don't buy it.